When I first got here, Coach Pitt told me, he said, hey, I need you to change the room. I need you to change the dynamics of the room. And we did that within the first year of adding some guys into the portal. And I want to see a kid that loves the game of football.
We're right here with defensive line coach Deke Adams. Hey, Deke, we had Coach Knight on. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit here. Deke actually spoke at this clinic at one time. Well, he was defense coordinator at Washita Baptist. And look where Deke, he's just that was 100 years ago. I actually had brown hair at the time. Yeah. That's all changed. You used to, you had a little bit more hair. You're a little dark too back then.
Oh yeah. I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on now.
Well, let's get into it. Talk to us a little bit about the process. This is your third year going into at Arkansas defensive line. Last year, I mean, you really recruited a lot of good guys and played real well on the defensive line wise. Talk to us what the process looking like this year, because it's the portal, it's NIL, and everybody's new, baby.
Man, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's really crazy. The landscape of college football has changed tremendously. And right now, man, it's an everyday deal. Recruiting never ended before all of this, but now since all this stuff started, it never ends. It's something that, you're dealing with all the time. The portal stuff, the NIL stuff, it's such a touchy subject.
Yeah.
When kids talk NIL, I have no control over that. I kind of lead them down the hallway or across the building, wherever they need to go. That's kind of out of my control. But, the hard part right now is you recruiting your kids that are in your room right now as much as you're recruiting kids outside. And I believe kids deserve opportunity for change. There are certain situations where change is about, but me personally, my own personal opinion, I think, in some ways we're teaching kids how to give up on things. I didn't start when I went straight to school. I had to fight through two guys in front of me, and I got that opportunity to do it, and that was just part of the game. But, this is the landscape of college football now, and then you're either with it or you're against it, and if you're against it, then you're probably going to get left behind.
Well, I mean, it's this, and there's no doubt. I mean, every guy on here, talking the same language on that deal. Coach Pittman always talks about changing your room, making it better.
Yeah.
What have you done in that process? From the end of the season now about making that room better and changing it.
Well, I think a big part of making the room better is the kids believing in you as a coach and wanting to play for you. One of the things that we do is, it's more than just football. It's a family atmosphere in my room. My kids know they can call me at any time. They know if there's any issues that come up, family or anything, that I'm there for them, and I'll, do whatever I can within the legal rights of what we can do to help them. That's a big part of it. And then, because I believe when kids, and I learned this a long time ago from an old coach that used to tell me, hey, once they know you love them, they'll do anything for you. And I believe my kids know that I love them and I care about them, and I'll do whatever I can. But when I first got here, Coach Pitt told me, he said, hey, I need you to change the room. I need you to change the dynamics of the room. And we did that within the first year of adding some guys into the portal and from the portal. And then Landon Jackson had just transferred in from LSU, and just these different guys. And then you put the mix of picking the right pieces to put to the puzzle. We needed some edge guys. We needed some guys that could rush the quarterback. We needed a bona fide inside guy. So we addressed those and we got them, and they did a really, really good job. Unfortunately now, dealing with the way it is, you haven't addressed those issues every year.
Yeah.
And then, now we're in a good situation. We have some guys that we did have a couple leave in my room, but, the majority of the room stayed intact, and they're ready to go. Man, they're working behind off now.
Well, talk to us the significance. You work with Coach Odom there for a year, and then Travis Williams comes in, and Travis is coming back and not having to change the system again.
Right.
Just you're getting the back-to-back years with that part. How big is that?
That's huge. That's huge when kids, in a lot of scenarios as a coach, systems are systems, and certain things that you do, it's going to be the same in one system as it is in the other. But when you present it to kids, sometimes just the terminology change makes them think they're doing something totally out of the realm of what you used to do. And so having having T. Will back, for a second year, man, is really going to be good for us. The kids are adjusting to what we're doing. We're making some tweaks on things and doing some different stuff, but it's really good. It's a lot of carryover.
Well, and then another guy, big fan of our show, Coach Mateos. We've had him on here, had a great time with. You're going to work close with that offensive line coach.
Right.
Bringing Eric in, I mean, how's that relationship gone so far? And then, what do you know about him? Do you have any background in that part of it?
Well, I've heard a lot of good. We've never really crossed paths before, but I've heard a lot of great things about him. And really, learning each other and getting to know each other as coaches, we haven't been able to really do that a whole lot right now because we're in the middle of recruiting. We've both been around each other in the recruiting process, but coaching aspect of it, that's still to be learned as we going through the process. But man, I've heard a lot of great things about him.
Well, good deal, Bray.
Coach, we talked a little bit about building your defensive line room. What does that look like when you're on the road, when you're recruiting? What are the intangibles that you have to have in your room?
Well, I have two really phenomenal guys in my room that help me. Kelvin Green, he used to be the defense coordinator at Delta State with Ty Cooley.
Oh, God bless his soul. He probably paid y'all to come. He had to work with that guy.
I knew when I said that name. And then I have a kid that played for me at North Carolina, named Tyrone Hopper. Man, those guys are really phenomenal. So when I'm on the road, I don't think there's a slack off at all in what goes on in our room because those guys speak the same language I do. They expect the same thing. And my kids know that we expect the same thing. And they know that, hey, you give them the same respect you give me. So it's been really good having those guys around.
Yeah. And as far as, the athletes that you're looking for, what is something that a kid has to have for him to be, hey, that's an offer kid. We need him on our team.
Well, the biggest thing for me is I want to see a kid that loves the game of football.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many kids now that are playing the game for so many reasons. In a lot of ways, they're not the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I want a kid that loves to play the game because we are a blue collar program. We're going to work.
Yeah.
And when it gets tough, I don't want you bailing because it gets tough and because you were here for another reason.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously, the academic part of it. It speaks for itself. But I want tough kids, man. I want kids that can move athletically, that plays violent because this league is. People can say what they want to say. This league is one up front, and it's a violent league up front. And if you can't maintain and hold the line of scrimmage, then you're gonna have issues. And there are a lot of kids we're recruiting that we've seen in the recruiting process that are really, really good football players, but they don't have the length or the size. I mean, you're going to go up against guys week in and week out that are 6'6", 6'7", 330 pounds weekly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not a guy with length, then you'll get swallowed up pretty quick. And so length is one of the things that we look for. And then explosiveness, violent hands, and then just playing violent.
Yeah. Oh, it's good stuff.
Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I graduated high school. My dad coached at the University of South Carolina for 6 years. Graduated from Spring Valley High School.
Yeah.
And
know the area well.
Under Joe Morrison was his coach.
Okay.
And then another great thing you brought up that I never thought about, or Coach Williams did in his question, that your relationship between the defensive line coach and the offensive line coach.
Right.
Because my dad, for 9 years, Jim Washburn was the defensive line coach.
Yeah.
And my dad was the offensive line coach. And they were like two peas in a pod, right?
Yep.
And my dad said he just learned so much from talking to Coach Washburn, and Coach Washburn learned so much about pass protection, the ins and outs of the game. And I asked my dad, I said, so you learned a lot. He said, but I'll tell you one thing. Wash thought he could beat me on a pass rush. And back in the day, where y'all run out, where the team runs out.
Yeah.
that used to be the indoor.
Okay.
And so Jim Washburn, Coach Washburn challenged him to a pass, pass.
Oh man.
And my
I'd
dad
love to see that one.
And my dad he said, okay. He said, Coach Washburn, I'll beat you because you're too old. Daddy said, I tell you what, boom, said they got off. I got off at the, I got him I got him up under here. My feet were moving. He said, put me down. My dad said, I can still do it.
Right.
I can still do it.
Well, I don't know if you'll get myself or Eric that'll agree on doing that. I don't know if you can get that done, but I'm always gonna bet on myself.
It was in fun. Coach Washburn challenged my dad's manhood, and he said, I can't let that
That's
happen.
right. I'm gonna tell you, Coach Washburn, man, he was a great coach. I used to go and spend time with him when he was with the Titans.
Yes.
And all that, so he's a great football coach.
I think he was voted in Sports Illustrated the top assistant coach in
And
NFL one year.
Hey, coach, and even a better storyteller.
Yeah. I believe that. Yeah.
I mean, when he gets to telling you a story, when he's telling it, take what he tells you, divide it by 500, and you'll still get a remainder.
That's right.
Okay. But and that is just incredible. And I feel like I know you because your son at one time was a highly recruited football player.
Yep.
Committed to the University of North Carolina.
Right.
What did he play? Quarterback? What position?
Well, he played quarterback his junior year. When his sophomore year, he played receiver, and they had a really good quarterback. The quarterback ended up leaving. And I told him after that, they didn't have any younger quarterbacks behind him. I told him then, I said, listen, if you don't play quarterback, you're never going to touch the ball. So he went and played quarterback his junior year and did a really, really good job. And then when we ended up moving back to North Carolina, and he went to Green Hope High School, and they had a really good quarterback there, so he went back to receiver.
Okay. So then during all that, he was also Major League Baseball prospect, number one pick of the not the California Angels anymore, the Anaheim Angels.
Right.
Coach, how do you as a family, how did y'all bring all that together?
Yeah. A big part is obviously, with my wife. My wife was an All-American basketball player in college.
Oh, she was.
We met each other there.
So we know where it comes from.
Yeah.
I've been bragging on you for a year now.
Let me tell you this. I will not deny it one bit. I just think I'm a great recruiter.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah, she has athletic mindset, so she understood all the stuff it took to do that. And it was tough. It was tough, because the one thing I'll say about him, he put everything into whatever sport it was he was playing. When he was playing football, he was invited to play in the North Carolina versus the Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, it was the North Carolina versus Virginia baseball game. It was in the middle of the football season, though.
Mm-hmm.
And he turned it down, and he said, I'm not going to play in that because I'm playing football. I'm not going to leave my team. And then even in the summer, when there were certain football workouts, he had big things going on with baseball. We would talk with the coach, and hey, he would play in certain baseball tournaments because he had to be at football stuff, and then vice versa. So it was a definitely juggling act.
Was it a tough decision when it came down to do I want to play college football for 4 years, or do I want to ride the buses in the minor leagues for was it a tough decision? Did he wrestle with the decision for a long time?
He did. He did. Even the night after he was drafted, he woke up the next morning, I think I want to go play, for Carolina in baseball and football. And we told him, we said, hey, we're going to do whatever you want to do. We're here for you. But I think once he realized what had just happened, he took everything in, and then sat down and looked at numbers and all this other stuff. It was kind of a no-brainer for him at that time. And the best decision as a parent, when you're leading your kids and you kind of help lead them in a certain direction, is always feels good when they come back and say, I'm glad I made that decision. And he did that.
Because I don't want to know anything about, but I mean, when he was thinking baseball, we're talking, they're throwing up pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah.
His direction, right?
He was blessed.
And,
there's no doubt about it.
And you're like, okay, I can go to college, or I can take the bag of money,
right?
And all I got to do is concentrate on baseball.
Right. Well, at that time, I think that explained his love for both sports because he was torn at that time. And people used to ask him all the time, "Hey, which one do you favor? Which one do you favor?" Well, he loves them both. Now, obviously, baseball is his first love because that's really kind of what he first started playing, and then I think it took that into his first year maybe of the minor league and all that. He really started to figure out, you know what? I'm a baseball player. Let me be, and that's when things started to get better for him. But he is, man, he's just a phenomenal athlete. And I'm just blessed to, I was
to be able to watch it and see it.
To be dad, Yeah.
You're just blessed to be able to watch it every day.
No doubt about it.
And say, see what I taught him right there?
Well, let's get back to this a little bit, and we'll get you out of here. The clinic. You've watched this thing grow. It's one of the biggest. It's a regional clinic.
Right.
You coming in here, y'all are doing some skills and drills tomorrow afternoon.
Yep.
Which we're excited about, and that part of your mindset coming in here. I know, talking to the high school coaches and that part of, but what do you look forward to the most for this clinic?
Man, just seeing guys, people think that, you go on college campuses and you're going to all of a sudden you're going to learn something that you didn't know, or you're going to hear something. Football, man, there's great coaches all across the country and definitely in the state of Arkansas. There's no doubt about it. This is my second time in the state, like I said, and a lot of great coaches. So a lot of familiar faces from before, and then just being able to sit down and listen to coaches talking and bounce ball off of each other. And there might be a little bit of thing that I grab from somebody else that could help us, and vice versa. They can grab things from us that can help them. And I think just being around here and being around coaches is a great opportunity for us.
Well, great. Coach, appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
Well, just grabbed you over there, got you over here.
No problem.
That's the way we roll, though, baby.
That's right.
That's the way we roll. Right. Well, thanks, Coach Adams. We appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Well, man, we are flying like crazy on YouTube right now. We're blowing it up. Had some great last couple of shows, been great views. Mm-hmm. Tell everybody how they can find us.
Yeah, we've hit a couple huge benchmarks on YouTube. Coaches in the Mouth. Give us a subscribe, give us a like. That's huge towards where we're headed. And of course, we're on Twitter or X under Coaches Pod. So give us a follow there. You can watch all of our episodes there as well.
Well, it's great. Well, for Coach Jeff Williams, Coach Brad Cook, the Mouth, we'll see you next time.